when the Bushiris came out in Malawi saying that they are in Malawi, we did indicate that they had absconded on their bail, which they were supposed to have appeared on a Friday. And we started looking for them. And when they then made that appearance in Malawi, we then started the process of investigating how they left. And when we issued our statement, we were 100% certain that they did not leave through the waterproof airbase where the Malawian president's plane had landed. We were certain that the port of entry, which is OR, where the advance team departed.
So that was Phumla Williams a little bit earlier on. Let's talk to the journalist who penned that article. Piet Rampedi joins us. Piet, thanks. He's the assistant editor at the Sunday Independent. Piet, thank you very much for joining us. You sticking with your story?
John, thank you very much for having me, and thanks to the listeners of SAFM. Definitely we are sticking to, we stand by our story, and we can prove it. But what is interesting here, John, is that we shouldn't be sidetracked. Our story is saying that Bushiri and his wife were smuggled out of South Africa in the Malawian president Lazarus Chikwara's jet as part of a plot hatched by the Malawian intelligence and implemented by that country's embassy. We are also saying in our story that they were issued with diplomatic passports bearing fake names, and cosmetic facial changes were done to them before they boarded the jet alongside members of Chakwera's advance team at OR Tambo. That's what I think we should focus on and forget the side issues.
Hold on a bit. You say you can prove it. How can you prove it?
Can give me a chance to respond to what Phumla was saying.
Okay.
So far, I would have expected Phumla to dispute the accuracy or otherwise of our story, or at least to give us the government's version of events, because you cannot dispute the outcome of our investigation while you don't have the outcome of your own investigation. It doesn't work that way. And secondly, so far, we have got a lot of questions which remain unanswered, which Ms. Williams has failed to answer to date. These include when was the state visit arranged and why was it necessary to hold it physically in the middle of COVID-19? How did Bushiri's children leave South Africa for Malawi? Who accompanied them? Which port of entry did they use? And why was their departure not flagged as a sign that Bushiri was preparing to leave? The other question is who approved the stopover of Chakwera's plane at OR Tambo? And you know, these are just some of the questions which we have expected her to, and would have expected her to deal with, rather than just speak in general terms and talk about media responsibility, accountability, and things like this. These for me are the real questions which need to be answered by the government. And so far, they've not done so.
To be fair, but they're saying their investigations are still underway. She did say that there was nothing wrong with the flight coming here. Regulations had been lifted and it was planned. There was a Southern African tour by the Malawi president, and South Africa was on the list. The COVID got lifted, and he made his way to South Africa. There's nothing wrong with that. That was the one thing she said. But she is saying the investigations are underway, and obviously you can't answer until you know what really happened.
Then on what basis do you dispute the outcome of our investigation when yours has yet to be concluded? You should have asked that.
You said
that.
I did, and I asked her if she's going to use your article as part of an investigation. And to be honest, I don't remember what she said, but it was asked. How can you prove these allegations? You've said here that there was video footage taken, but it was classified as top secret, and you're relying on witnesses. So how do you prove that your article is correct, Piet?
I'm not sure what your question is supposed to mean, John. In terms of investigation,
you said you could prove
when you speak, can you give me a chance to explain, John? In terms of investigation, when you interview sources, They give you the information that they give you. They give you the facts that they give you. They give you the documentation that they give you. That's what I mean when I say we can prove it. I didn't say that I am in possession of a video footage, because in that story we are saying that the footage was taken at the Kamuzu International Airport in Malawi. We don't have that version, but for your information, if you can look at the media report, the initial media report from Malawi, a day after the Bushiris left the country, there were initial stories out of Malawi where a couple of media houses, including The Nation and the Daily Mail, were saying that were basically concurring with a reportage where they were saying that the Bushiris were smuggled in President Chakwara's plane, and that the president was actually hiding a fugitive, something along those lines. There were initial reports from Malawi, in that regard. So from what we have established, the footage was taken by some of the media houses in Malawi, but it was later confiscated by the Malawian intelligence authorities and classified as top secret after the brouhaha started here in South Africa over the departure of the Bushiris.
You've named some very high-ranking names here. Through the embassy, they lobbied the Ramaphosa administration for assistance. The Malawis banked on their constitution, which protected diplomats and bars extradition unless the suspects were sought for murder or treason. To throw the Ramaphosa name in there obviously has caused some stirs. Have you heard anything, any reports, any possible criminal or taking it to lawyers about your article, Piet?
I can rephrase the question. The lawyers from who?
Have the government reported your story to anybody for libel or any sort of arguments against your article legally?
Not as far as I know, but that's a question that they can best answer themselves, but not as far as I know.
All right, so you haven't been, somebody's knocked on your door at 2 a.m. said, hello, can we speak please, Mr. Rampedi?
No, not really, but I don't even expect them, because the fact that they have to speak for themselves, but it's up to them how they respond.
Piet Rampedi, thank you very much. Are we going to hear a little bit more about this? Obviously, it's investigative pieces go a little bit further. We're going to hear more from you?
Look, it's an ongoing investigation because, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff happening in Malawi. There are court cases, there are court appearances involving the Bushiris. Even here, the police announced earlier today that they had added other charges to the charge sheet involving the Bushiris. We are also following up on the escape itself, the smuggling itself, because that's what our interest in is. And we are following up some other leads to check who were the role players, who in South Africa, or which authorities in South Africa actually participated in this collusion. That's where we're focusing.
Piet Rampedi, thank you very much. Assistant Editor at the Sunday Independent.